bridging the gap for so many years and bringing this shepherd's fold DNA and passing it along, and then it gets. And over the course of the really 3 years around the idea of Treehouse Village, and then it actually taking shape and being developed, we got to be down here and wonder, what in the world could this look like? And I will say there are 3 words that come to my mind when I think about Mike and Lainey Staires and Treehouse Village specifically, and that is vision, direction, and inspiration. At that time, since 1972 to about 1990, there was just one shepherd's fold, one concept, one idea. It was the ranch camp cabins that we know. Before that, it was the A-frame, where you bunkhouse, and that's how we did camp. And then there began this growth that was happening with Shepherd's Fold. There were more kids that wanted to come, and we were trying to figure out, Mike and Lainey and Don and Shirley, trying to figure out how do we grow but yet stay the same at the same time? How do we stay small, that individual, intimate connection that counselors and staff are able to have with campers? How do we do this and stay what is really our secret sauce, which is relationships, it's intimacy, it's small groups. And so Mike and Lainey and Don and Shirley traveled down south, not to Africa, just to Texas, to look at some other camp properties, and there were some ideas that kind of opened their eyes on the concepts of what could we do. And there was that we would have camp within camp, that we could have Shepherd's Fold Ranch, have little kids, day campers, and even the older kids, ranch campers, all at the same time on the same property in different areas. And for me as a counselor and a staff and as a camper who just, you stayed in those cabins, that was it. It was just like my mind couldn't get there. And I was so glad that my mind couldn't get there, because Mike Staires' mind could get there. And you know, it's one thing as a leader to have vision. There are a lot of great leaders who have great vision, but there are very few leaders that have great vision and to be able to put legs to it and see it to fruition. And Mike led this challenge that we had to create something out of nothing. And I remember even in 1992, coming down here when it looked a whole lot like just that area right there. And Ron was there, and Danny was there, and several others, and we were hacking away at trees. If you get your hands around it, it's going down. And we were just brush hogging the entire place with our bare hands and sickles and all this stuff. I mean, it was manual labor. I tried to get out of as much of it as I could. And that's what we did, and we just started on this thing a year before anything was even built. And the vision for that really started in 1990 when they started thinking through, how can we do this? How can we do this? And then in 1993, Treehouse Village was born. And we were so excited. The guest groups that came during the beginning of the summer, they were so excited. And so we had Encouraging Word that came the first part of the summer every year. An Encouraging Word came out, and they basically rented our facilities, used their staff and our staff. It was a great partnership. And they wanted to be at Treehouse Village. And Mike told them, we're not ready. Treehouse Village is not complete. I mean, we still had sawdust on the floor of the clubhouse. I mean, we barely were operational, if even that. We want to be the first. We want to be the first group to ever stay at Treehouse Village. There was just so much excitement. And so Mike and Don obliged them and said, okay, we will let you guys be there and be the first to stay at Treehouse Village. And so they came, they had a great week. We were all trying to figure out how meetings here. What about the Eagles Nest? What about the sunsets? I mean, just all this stuff is going through our minds. And so we got here. It was a great week. We had some bumps. We had some things to figure out. But overall, they were just so happy that they were here. It didn't look anything like this. It was way scaled down. It was just birthed. You ever seen a baby when they're just birthed? It's not pretty. So we go up the next day. This is Saturday. They've left, and we're having our staff meeting, our debrief. And Mike is at the front. I'm sitting just to the right of Mike, as I usually was, at the master's right hand. And he's saying, okay, everybody, what do we need? What do we learn from this week at Treehouse? What did he say? Well, I think there's some hooks that we could probably put in to put the towels on. Oh, yeah. I'm feverishly just taking everything down, whatever he says, all right. And then, yeah, that's good, Scott, write that down. What else? And while we're doing this, I see Don come walking in. It's back when he had legs. And he came walking in, and he sat down in the corner of the A-frame. When they had benches, we had benches on the A-frame with carpet. You used to have carpet. And so we start, and what else? Oh, well, when the showers were on, the water was going underneath. It's not sealed, so the water was just coming in. Their towels were getting wet. Is there a way we could build benches and put benches? Oh, benches, that sounds good. What else? Oh, well, this didn't work very well. I mean, it was before we were really ready. And so I'm just writing down all this stuff. Well, I see Don over there in the corner, and he was sitting with his back on it. Then he started leaning up. And then he leaned up on the edge of the deal, and he's looking at Mike like this. And I could just see he's just so frustrated. Because all these things are happening, and nothing's working, and it just seems like this was a whole bad idea after all. And so finally, he gives one of these, Mike, and Mike says, yeah, Dad. He says, well, is this gonna work? Mike got it, and I loved what Mike did. He just looked at his dad and he said, yeah, Dad, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna work just fine. And it did. We got hooks up on the wall, we built some benches, we sealed some things, and it got better every single year. And now, 30 years later, wow, it's the best it's ever been. There have been several cabins. If you see the cabins with the doors, those have been newly renovated and remodeled thanks to the generous gifts of Friends of the Fold. We do still have a couple of these cabins, a little plug here, a couple cabins, maybe 3 total, that still need to be renovated. It's about a $10,000 deal, and we have $10,000 given for 2 cabins. So if you wanted to renovate a cabin, there's a matching gift, dollar for dollar, up to $5,000. You give 5, it'll be match 5, and we'll renovate a cabin. 2 more of those? Officially, just 2 more left. 3 more left. 3 more, Box, that's 3, it's 3. 3 more. 3 more. So one of the 3, I'm just hearing, yes? One of the 3 is already paid for. So we really just need to get the next 2 taken care of. So if that's something as the Lord leads, and you have friends, it doesn't have to just be you, it could be friends that you have that, hey, together you want to go in and renovate one of the cabins, it would be fantastic, and it would really finish this out for the 30th year that we've been doing Treehouse Village. But look around 30 years later, and I want to say for Mike and Lainey, Don and Shirley's built Shepherd's Fold Ranch. Nobody questions that. When I think about Treehouse Village, I think about Mike and Lainey Staires. When I think about the concept of really branching out, and the great storyteller himself gets to tell a great story of Treehouse Village and how it expanded from 40 to 50 and 150 campers during the summers that we got to serve and love and point to Jesus. Mike is the consummate storyteller, and as he communicated the vision of Treehouse Village, we all signed up. Everybody. Because I don't know about you, but if you've been around Mike Staires for any amount of time, and I was with him for a long time as staff, when he spoke, you listened. When he cast a vision, you wanted to be a part of it. And he was able to do that because of what God did in his life, and that he was willing, here I am, Lord, send me. But he was also willing to do that and able to do that because of the lady sitting right next to him.
Amen to that.
Lainey, when I think of Treehouse Village, I think of your youthful spirit and your love for life and your childlike heart that says, let's go play. And when I think about all of the kids that trickled down into these cabins and got to play on these, the deck and in the clubhouse, and just feel like they were in a forest, feel like they got to be a part of the Hook movie and be kids, I think about you and just how you always stirred that environment up wherever you were, and your kids getting to trickle down from the Eagles Point all the way down here and find their way, even some losing their way like Nick. That spirit is encapsulated in this place, and a lot of that I think of comes from you and your Spirit. And so we want to celebrate Mike and Lainey. We want to thank God for 30 years. I got to be the first Is Trent here? Is Trent down here? No? So we'll have no photography here. Okay. Trent's mom, Julie, and I got to be the directors here that very first year. And what's so thrilling for me on this 30th anniversary personally is not only do I get to celebrate my good friend Mike and Lainey, but I got a picture texted to me yesterday. It was from Jared Greger, who I mentored when he was in high school because of Shepherd's Fold Ranch. And my daughter, McKenna, got to be a counselor here at Treehouse Village. And he texted me a picture and he said, no big deal. Just your daughter baptizing my daughter in the pool at Shepherd's Fold. And and I think about the vision that Mike had for this place. And now my daughter gets to be a counselor here 30 years after I was here, and the ministry thriving and continuing to move forward because of your vision. And so Mike, thank you, brother. Thank you for this place, for having a vision. Thank you for giving your life to this vision, giving your life away so others can see Jesus. And that was me. Thank you for being the greatest leader I've ever been able to follow and be under. Your leadership, your directorship, your vision, the way you communicated and told stories. I wanted to be like Mike Staires, and I still do. Recently, Mike was honored in a short little news deal about Parkinson's in his fight, and he said, "Gratitude is my weapon." And our posture today, Mike, is gratitude to you and to you, Lainey, and to your kids for all they have given, all you have given, to be able to make this part of a place called home even more home for all of us. And so we want to unveil this sign. Well, here we are in 2023, 30 years after Treehouse Village became a reality. It is our pleasure, our honor, and by God's grace, to be able to dedicate Treehouse Village to Mike and Lainey Staires. Luke 18:16, but Jesus called the children to him and said, "Let the little children come to me and do not hinder them, for the kingdom of God belongs to such as these." Treehouse Village in honor of Mike and Lainey Staires. Amen. We got enough.
We'll see you. Thank you guys so much for this opportunity, and I'm just so grateful. Thank you, Ron, for giving me this hour to speak. Thank you to Lucia for getting the memo about what to wear tonight. Yeah, I thought you'd get it. It took me. No, I saw in the early 90s, I saw a couple of movies that really God used to give me vision. A vision for this was from Hook, about children learning how to do battle with the enemy, and the Lost Boys living in the cool trees. And then I saw Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and how the merry men lived in Sherwood Forest, and got a vision for camp, that we could do camp like that. I'm just so overwhelmed at what Treehouse Village has become. Grateful for the Spirit of the Lord that blew life into it. Also grateful for David Boggs for every nail he nailed. Amen. Yeah, he really has been around that long. Some of you will remember when we figured out that those little doors upstairs were, lo and behold, kids figured out they could sneak out. So we had to make a few changes. but this became a place every bit as fun and every bit as sacred as the other favorite camp spots on this place. Lainey wrote a few words I'd like for her to read.
Dear Ron, Lucia, and the SFR board and the staff, Mike and I are so grateful for you and the way you are continuing to bless the lives of many children and young adults who come to summer camp to play and to be on staff. Either way, it's a life-changing experience. It's hot, sometimes feels long, and it's certainly not a glamorous career, even if that, quote, career only lasts for a summer. But it's the most rewarding thing we've ever been part of, and we're honored to be listed in the history books as staff members of Shepherd's Full Ranch. We've never worked so hard, had so much fun, worshiped with all we've got, made so many precious friends and memories with those friends, and grew so much as we did at the ranch. It was worth it. We love you all, we're proud of you, and we're proud of what goes on top of the hill in Avant, Oklahoma. Good work.
Always